Have you ever wondered how inflation affects your life, particularly if you're part of the middle class? Inflation, by definition, is a general increase in prices and a consequential fall in the purchasing power of money. It's like an invisible tax that slowly but surely eats away at your income and savings. Now, when inflation kicks in, a number of things happen in the economy. The first and most noticeable effect is the decreased purchasing power of your money, which means everything becomes more expensive. This leads to a higher cost of living as the price for goods and services rise. Inflation also increases production costs. As prices for materials, labor, and overheads rise, businesses often pass these costs on to consumers in the form of price increases. This is a double whammy for the middle class as they face rising costs both as consumers and as workers. But that's not all. Inflation can also erode your savings. If the interest rate on your savings account is lower than the rate of inflation, the real value of your savings decreases over time. Lastly, essential goods and services such as housing and healthcare become increasingly unaffordable, making it harder for the middle class to maintain their standard of living. So, in essence, inflation can make life harder for the middle class, especially when wages don't keep up with rising prices. But how does inflation specifically impact the middle class? Well, the effect of inflation on the middle class can be likened to a slowly tightening vice. At first, it's a discomfort, then a squeeze, and finally, a crushing pressure. When inflation outpaces wage growth, the real income of the middle class stagnates or declines. Imagine running on a treadmill that's gradually speeding up. No matter how fast you run, your position remains the same or even regresses. That's what it's like when your income isn't keeping up with inflation. It's not just about income though. The value of savings and investments can also take a hit. With interest rates low compared to inflation, your hard-earned savings could be slowly eroding away like ice under the sun. Inflation also makes essential goods and services more expensive. Housing, a fundamental need, is becoming increasingly unaffordable. And let's not forget healthcare costs, which are surging like a rocket, adding to the burden on middle-class families. Inflation, therefore, can significantly diminish the quality of life for the middle class. What can be done to alleviate the impact of inflation on the middle class? That's the million-dollar question. Well, there are a few strategies that policymakers can consider. Let's delve into them. Firstly, wage growth needs to outpace inflation. This can mean promoting policies that encourage businesses to increase wages or even implementing a minimum wage hike. When wages grow faster than inflation, real income increases and the middle class can maintain or even improve their standard of living. Secondly, controlling price increases is crucial. This might involve monitoring industries notorious for price hikes like healthcare and housing. When these costs are controlled, they become more affordable, easing the financial strain on middle-class families. Lastly, providing subsidies for essential goods and services can be a game changer. These subsidies can make necessities like food and healthcare more affordable, preserving the purchasing power of the middle class. In conclusion, there's no one-size-fits-all solution, but a combination of these strategies can certainly help. With the right policies in place, the negative effects of inflation on the middle class can be mitigated. Inflation is a complex issue with far-reaching impacts, particularly for the middle class. We've explored how it erodes purchasing power, makes essentials unaffordable, and stagnates real incomes. But we've also discussed potential solutions to alleviate its impact. Remember, understanding these economic principles can help us navigate our financial future. If you found this video enlightening, don't forget to subscribe for more such content.